Hey YouTube, Parson Rick here. I'm smoking Blendrecommender's Stroll on Main. It's my very last pipe full of it, and this is just an old basket pipe. This is actually my very first pipe that I purchased, and the one I pretty much destroyed learning to smoke wrong. Still don't smoke right very much. Well, this is a VR to Joe Puentes on his 100 sub giveaway. That was fast, Joe. Been subscribing to yourself, have we? Nah. Well deserved. Well deserved. Bunch of noise going on outside. Joe wanted to know a couple things. He wanted, I believe he wanted to shout out for a under 50 or under 100 presenter. If it's under 100, Joe, I'd like to suggest the Kilted Grappler. I do enjoy his channel, and taken part in a couple of his one of his theological discussions. That was fun. And if it's under 60, Grateful Piper. He has 54. I just checked. I think I packed this last little bit down a little too far. Sorry about the ums. I'm trying to eradicate them. Almost did it again too. The person I'd most like to sit down and share a smoke with is Sequoyah. Sequoyah was a Cherokee guy that lived at the end of the 1700s, early 1800s. He is best known for creating the Cherokee syllabary, which is the Cherokee alphabet. And what he did is he ran a trading post, and he didn't speak any English, and he started to feel that the white man, the English, the Europeans, English speakers, whatever, had a definite advantage because they could send a letter that told somebody exactly what they wanted to tell them. And the First Nations people, the Cherokee, they didn't have anything like that. And he thought it was to their detriment not to. But he faced a lot of prejudice. A lot of people at that time felt that it was magic, or there was no reason to do it because I can just walk up and tell you what I want. Well, you can't send me what you want. And he went through quite a process to get the idea accepted by the elders. And what he did is, first he tried to make word and symbol, correlation. And then what he decided to do, because he would have had to come up with thousands and thousands of memorized symbols for these words, he just made there, that's why there's noise. Looks like somebody's coming home. Oh, it's the missus. She was swimming. Anyway, he decided to come up with a syllabary, and he boiled it down to, boy, I don't remember. So many syllables, and then he created a figure, and he took heavily from English and Russian and all sorts of different alphabets to make these. And he developed this language, and he taught it to his 6-year-old daughter. And then, to prove that it was valuable, he took his daughter. He had a chief in one part of the country dictate a letter that he wrote, and then his daughter read it to these guys in the other part of the country, and they said, hey, that was useful. So, thinking the guy was a genius. And he did many things through his life, but the problem is, almost everything about him is legend or contradictory, and it came right at the time, right before the Trail of Tears, and he was one of the Cherokee that had moved to Oklahoma in advance. He was born around Tennessee, and all that area down there was Georgia, and there was a lot of political stuff going on. So most of the things about him, his father was half. His grandfather was a white settler, either Scottish or German. His father was half, and his mother was full blood. And he was frequently referred to as George Guest or Gist. There's just so much confusion about what happens, and that's quite often in trying to trace heritage. Even in my own family, just my grandmother, very little of what you can find about her is substantiated, or at the very least contradictory or untrue. And so I kind of gave up. You know, it's very hard. But I'd like to sit down with Sequoyah, and I'll at the end I'll attach a picture. It's probably the most famous picture of him. He's always pictured with a pipe, and I like that. And it would just be cool to sit down, and who knows, he may be one of my ancestors. I don't know. He's family, and either German or Cherokee. Who knows? I'd love to sit down and hear what he has to say. Get his take on things current. So, hope that works for you, Joe. And thanks for the opportunity to do a little research. It's been a long time since I'd done any research on Sequoyah, and John Ross and all the early Cherokee leaders. They came up with if you don't know, they came up with a constitution modeled much after the American Constitution. Courts of law. The Cherokee were one of the first very assimilated tribes in America. Very, very interesting history, and has some tremendous leaders in there that are well documented, in part because of this syllabary that Sequoyah or George came up with. So, hope this works for you. I'll attach a picture at the end, and congrats on your subs. Good night. God bless.